From the city of the sun, you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile.
Today is October 15, 2025. It is 3:36 a.m. So I'm gonna go straight and record some stuff that happened in DC. 14 most powerful women. So there's some tweet that I put on a list, so let's go over it, okay? And then maybe later there's a hashtag regarding the most powerful women summit. I might go over them just in case, okay? But I want to focus on the list that I have. All right, so first tweet. Oh, what did I do? Copy. First tweet, okay. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex and founder of As Ever at 14 Most Powerful Women. I thought that was a video. I wanted to start with some videos. Divine outfit. There's that. And this is an ad. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I have not listened to some of the videos that I have on the list, so I'll be listening to them for the first time. Okay, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, praises the strength of her partnership with Netflix during an interview at the 14 Most Powerful Women Summit and spoke of plans for bespoke small retail collaboration. Okay, so let's listen. If I find the entire interview or discussion, I'll put it on a video by itself, okay? And probably put it on our Part of View service. Let's listen. 51 seconds, screenshot in between.
My husband and I were in an overall deal with Netflix, and then not dissimilar to Higher Ground and the Obamas deal. Once that had come to its term, the extension of it, which was such an incredible sign of the strength of our partnership, was now being in a first look deal, which is also exciting because it gives us flexibility to go to our partners first, and then at the same time to be able to shop content that might not be the right fit for Netflix, but has a home somewhere else. So I think my intention would be to have really bespoke, small retail collaborations, do some interesting ones as well in global territories. And then, of course, as you think about scaling, you know, it's a brand that's accessible, but it still has a quality that feels as though it's masstige. And so when we think about larger retailers, I think in the next couple of years, that would make sense. My husband and I were in an overall...
You know what's good with this? Because so many other people have give their opinion about the deal with Netflix. So it's good to hear from her directly. That's what I got from there. Mistake, a blended word meaning nice but affordable to the masses. Unimpressive delivery, Meghan Markle. Who are you trying to... She's doing her thing, okay? It fits for her. That's all matter. Okay? Another company that will go broke soon. Okay, it doesn't matter. At least she's trying. At least she's trying. I wish I had that kind of driven kind of thing, entrepreneurship. It's not made for everybody. Instead of putting her down, either ignore her, but don't put her down. She's doing something. Most of the things she sells, well, not most, at least the things that she's selling are sold out. And it's not even globally, it's just in the US. What the fuck? Yeah, let's leave that alone. Let's go to the next tweet. You know, the haters will always come. And I bet you the leftovers will love to have that same deal that she's having. They're hating and then they're going to copy her. Okay? On supporting women. Quote, we are not simply supporting each other's lives. We're supporting each other's legacies. And that's the piece that's so powerful. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Okay? 32 seconds.
And as women, we support each other. We are not simply supporting each other's lives. We're supporting each other's legacies. And that's the piece that's so powerful. When I'm supporting or investing in another female founder, I am investing in what she's going to do for the culture, for her business, the legacy she's going to leave, how that brand, if it's a CPG brand, is going to show up in people's homes. So it is all fundamentally important, and I don't think it's a conversation we should shy away from. I think it's one that we should really embrace together. Thank you, Meghan.
Okay. And she have shown that over and over again. This is not just words. Okay, so there's no comment. There's about 192 retweet and 787 likes. Next tweet. Okay, so this is a picture. The modern princess. She's, oh God, I responded to that. She's not a princess. There's me here. Okay, keep telling yourself that. She doesn't give a damn either way. Anyways, so I went and get some screenshot. There it is here. Okay, member of the British royal family. And Harry's a prince, so what do you expect? All right, let's see here. Meghan, such an intelligent, classy princess like no other. Madam Duchess has a voice in defining what a princess looks like and does. Go Meghan. The princess that can speak and speaks well. The shade, the squad be torn. Those people truly cannot compete with the Duchess of Sussex. So beautiful. Beauty, brains, kindness, and grace. Duchess Meghan is the entire package. Agree? Thumbs up. Harry did tell the people that. Next tweet. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex at the Fortune MPW Summit. The pictures. There she is here. Walking to stage. That lady, the interviewer, she reminds me, what's that? Penny. Is that CBS TV show? What's her name? What's the name of the show? If I remember when I'm editing, just look at the screen. I probably will put it there. Oh, there's the video. Oh, it's only for a second. Now, see that walk. Let's see. It's giving Rachel Zane. I love this joy era for her. Lovely pics. There's the loving eye. Princess Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, is perfection made woman. I just finished watching her live on her segment. It was great. I love everything about this look. Lovely, like in suits. Princess Meghan. Next tweet. I don't have the full video. Okay, so this is, oh, that's a video. 1 minute and 40 seconds. Meghan talked about how important financial independence is, especially for women, and why she invests in other women. Okay, sounds like similar to the other one that I just played, but let's listen.
And for final question, I know financial independence has always been important to you, and you've said that it's the most empowering thing. I agree. And I think all the women in this room who are incredibly hardworking, every job is hard, but these career women also would agree. How do you think about that? Because you had a whole career, very successful before you got married. You're having a whole other career now. What's the importance of financial independence to you?
Well, financial independence is what gives you the freedom of choice. And I think in this day and age, we all need to be able to have our autonomy. That is a huge element of that. Financial literacy, for that reason, is something that I spend a lot of time on, specifically for young girls and their empowerment. And I think as women, especially in a room like this, we can all probably agree that as women, when we're supporting each other for all of these elements that might not necessarily be the ones that people want to hear us talk about, there's nothing taboo. Doesn't need to be anything taboo about talking about our financial independence or our independence overall. And as women, when we support each other, we are not simply supporting each other's lives, we're supporting each other's legacies. And that's the piece that's so powerful. When I'm supporting or investing in another female founder, I am investing in what she's going to do for the culture, for her business, the legacy she's going to leave, how that brand, if it's a CPG brand, is going to show up in people's homes. So it is all fundamentally important, and I don't think it's a conversation we should shy away from. I think it's one that we should really embrace together.
Thank you, Meghan. Duchess.
Okay, the royal family knows that, and this is why they were trying to keep Harry in a chain, took everything away from him, don't give him any financial support. Okay, that goes both ways as well, for men as well, financial independence. But, well, most men usually ahead of time with this type of things, but for women. But the royal family, this is what they were trying to do, to prevent both her and all the other women who marry into the royal family, to prevent them from being financial independent. They know when you have money, it's the kind of freedom where you could buy whatever you want, go wherever you want, and things like that. Okay? Financial independence, characterized by autonomy and freedom of choice, highlights that Meghan Sussex's coherent narrative is also about her own self-empowerment. Absolutely. Tomorrow, the royals and the British media will bash her for the crime of being financial independent. If there is one thing I have learned about the UK, they are not only racist, but deeply misogynistic. Yep. If they had left Meghan alone, all of the things people around the world are discovering now, because they were so good, the UK is so good at doing their crime so subtly. Okay? Very under the radar. But because they refuse to leave Meghan alone, and they're exposing themselves. I didn't care about the UK. I mean, I was aware of some of the things they've done around the world, but I didn't really go too deep into all of it. I was so busy with my own issues. But the moment they fixated on her, on Meghan, I had to look in, and then the things that I discovered, it's unbelievable. So I'm sure many Americans who probably didn't even give a shit about the UK. Yes, they knew about their independence and things like that. And we've seen where the US is not even teaching history as much. But what the UK has done, the media in the UK, the royal family has done, have led so many people to understand their barbaric behavior. They have gotten away with it for so long. It's not like people didn't care. It's just that there's so many things, distraction, people have bills to pay, kids to feed. All of these things were distracting from really paying attention to their BS. But because they're so greedy, what else can I say about them? They want everything for themselves. And when they see Meghan marry into the royal family, all of a sudden they forget about their stupidity, their skeleton in their closet. And it allows people to see the skeleton that they're trying to hide so deeply. They forgot about the stupidity that they have done. Okay, she's so eloquent. We stand a hardworking boss lady who support other women. Yes. Can you imagine how the other one would have been? I have some tweet regarding the leftovers, but I want to do this one first. It's more important. All right. Oh, is that? Yep, another video. This one is longer. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, talking to Fortune magazine about her new first look deal with Netflix and the flexibility it offers, as well as her upcoming holiday Christmas edition of With Love, Meghan. Okay, so let's listen. 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Can you talk a little bit too about the show and how it matches with As Ever, the brand, and Netflix's role in this? I know they've been a big backer of yours. You worked with Bella, their chief content officer, to develop quite a relationship with Netflix over the years. And that partnership just renewed with slightly different terms. I'm wondering if you could talk about what are the terms now and how has that helped you build As Ever?
Yes, well, my husband and I were in an overall deal with Netflix, and then not dissimilar to Higher Ground and the Obama's deal. Once that had come to its term, the extension of it, which was such an incredible sign of the strength of our partnership, was now being in a first look deal, which is also exciting because it gives us flexibility to go to our partners first, and then at the same time to be able to shop content that might not be the right fit for Netflix but has a home somewhere else. So for our non-scripted team and our scripted team, we've been doing a lot of content development that can meet different rooms. And then of course for the business, it's been incredible because when you have female executive leadership that is so supportive of me as an entrepreneur, what we've designed is being able to have so much robust support in year one, where you have the show complementing the brand, where content and commerce are meeting, and then still enabling me to have autonomy to build out my own team and scale it in the way that I envision. That will go on, the business will of course go on longer than a series. And so it's really been a partnership that I'm grateful for.
And I think there's a general interest in, will we be seeing a season 3 of With Love?
And by the way, what she just said here about the long-term partnership. Okay, the UK, the British royal family, always trying to undermine Harry and Meghan's work. Let's continue. There's so many things I want to say, but let's leave it as that.
Meghan, will it be on Netflix? Do we know?
Well, the holiday special is coming out in November. And it's a really good one. So I think looking at that format, again, it's a year of learns. So we're able to say 8 episodes for 2 seasons. It's a lot of work. And having done Suits for 7 years, I remembered what goes into a production. I also recognize how much people want content in different sizes. So part of what we're testing out now is, it's amazing to be able to sit and watch a show for 30 minutes, but how can I give you a recipe in 2 minutes? And where can I share that with you? And how that continues to grow as ever. So exploring all the options of what it could look like.
That's great. So the holiday special in November, we'll keep an eye out for that.
I do lots of gift wrapping techniques. You guys know I used to teach gift wrapping at Paper Source and advanced gift wrapping. So, all of those things that you do as an auditioning actor, that's not the full circle I was expecting, but here we are.
Yeah, you had a lot of odd jobs. Froyo was another one, I believe.
Yeah, Humphrey Yogurt, that was my first job. And, when I used to do calligraphy, I used to do it for so many celebrity weddings and for hotels. And that was in between auditions. And at the time, I don't know why I didn't think to just buy a glove, but you don't want the natural oils from your hands to get on the beautiful paper. So I would just put a white tube sock on my hand. Write all these very fancy cards for people.
Amazing. Well, a long way from the white tube socks on your hands, but we sure all appreciate that.
All right, so that's that. I was reading this, but you could read it yourself. All right, these two, Squaddy responded to her. Okay, precisely. That first look deal really gave the Sussexes more freedom and flexibility. Let's see here. Oh, it's blurry. This first look deal is indeed an upgrade. The Sussexes are no longer locked into a restrictive arrangement. They're freer, more experienced, bankable, and in demand. Netflix, the largest streaming platform in the world, aware that other major platforms were lining up to sign them, had no choice but to compromise to keep them. The result is a first look deal that gives the streaming platform first dibs, but with less control. And for Harry and Meghan, that's the best of both worlds. Okay, and Meghan just explained it. She is so articulate, knowledgeable, and confident and beautiful, and that is why the mumblers, lazy future king and queen, and their peeps dislike and disparage her. She shows them up by just breathing. Meghan has so much depth, and everything she does, she's not the well just glass over, you fill in the blanks type of Duchess princess. She really cares a lot about what she does, and she cares a lot about the end user's experience. Thank you, Meghan, for your, there's a heart here, 2-minute recipes along with seasonal special. To be honest, I rather a straightforward season 3, but I get that even 8 episodes is a big time commitment when she has so much on to go, including prioritizing time with the kids and hubby. Love this. Meghan Sussex, a real pro at this questioning and answering format of speaking engagement. I hope to see more of that going forward, guys. Did it seem like perhaps we'll be getting seasonal with Love Meghan? That's what it sounds like to me. We were really spoiled with season 1 and 2. Meghan is modest, grateful, always plugging her former employers, and never forget her roots. That's a very good point. Oh, Meghan, those 2-minute recipe ideas sound good. She should totally start posting those on IG. Meghan Sussex addresses this question comprehensively, emphasizing autonomy, creativity, and flexibility at its core. All right. Okay, so let's read what's on the screen. She's incredibly beautiful and intelligent. I hope we get more speaking engagement like this. Meghan Sussex, Fortune MPW. It was outstanding. Meghan is a clever businesswoman. There isn't much she can't pull off. As Ever Holiday, bring it on. Meghan Sussex, screw that. I want a season 3. Meghan is truly an icon. I have no idea what she just said, and I am a native English speaker. Oh, please. She didn't confirm nor deny season 3. This one needs to be black. Alright, so let's go to the next one. Trying to say something stupid. Well, it was stupid. Or trying to diminish what she said, but instead shows your stupidity. Next tweet. Okay, Meghan speaks about how friends work around international shipping. They have their friends stock up for them and then ship it to them separately. The inventory is moving in a way we hadn't anticipated, which is the biggest blessing. All right. I think I respond to that and I tag somebody. Or I retweeted it, Joe Diva. Oh, see, somebody respond to her, Joe Diva. She sees you. Yep. She, I didn't share that with you. She's a squaddie. She's the one who usually set, let's say we're doing a fundraising and things like that. It's her. I believe she just went, is it Scotland? Something like that? Or UK? I'm not sure, but around those areas. So, for vacation. Like last week or something. I didn't share that with you because it had nothing to do with the Sussexes, just she's a Sussex squad. So she took some, she bought some wine, As Ever wine with her to give to some of the Sussex squad in the UK. All right. So when I saw this, I automatically thought of her and someone actually just tagged her here. Where is it? The bottom here. Joe Diva, she sees you. Okay? Because she posted about it. But let's listen. 22 seconds.
Especially when you have people who have an appetite for the products in global territories, but we aren't selling internationally yet. And so they're finding workarounds where they'll have their friends stock up for them and then ship it to them separately. So the inventory is moving in a way that we hadn't anticipated, which is the biggest blessing. And can you talk a little bit too about, especially when you have...
So that's that. Some of the squaddies have been caught. Meghan saw you. Yep. I so love this. Sussex squad, she sees us. She is onto us. There's that. Joe Diva, she sees you. Yep. Alright. This is extra. Let me pause so I could add these. Okay. I just came across JTB's video. Alright. So I add this to the list. The shoes. Princess Meghan. 11 responses. Okay, I'm interested in the moderator's shoes. I don't have the coordination to wear Meghan's type of heels. The high heels. That's one of the shoes in her video clip. Like them too. I love it. Can I try them on? How long at her toes? Remember the time they announced their engagement? I think she was wearing the same shoes. I mean, the squad are on point and everything. So I don't know. So let's go to the next one, which I just add. That's a video. I'm so thrilled that Meghan sees the groundswell of support for her on the ground, and that she's intentional about creating opportunities to engage with her supporters in wholesome ways that the Dementors can't ruin. All right, 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Let's go into it so it could be bigger.
From sleep, people want to be hearing from you, but then they have lots of opinions that they stick in there that are not welcome, not helpful. And I'm curious, as you are, founders always have to look for signals in what's working, what's not working, how do I tinker, how do I pivot? How are you able to decipher out like the constructive from obviously the not constructive that you need to ignore?
Well, there are certain things that I've done just for my own self-preservation, but also that I've applied to the brand and for the people that are incredibly supportive. I know, the question can be around naysayers, but if you really see the groundswell of support that surrounds the brand and me, that's what I feel the most, and that's what I appreciate. But by design, I also recognize that a lot of those people aren't going to my page to see negativity. And so not just protecting myself or the people that work with me, but also the supporters. So I don't have the comment section on. That's a choice. And yet part of that challenge that I was trying to solve for was, then how do I create community? That is so key to this brand, and it's so key to how I like to show up in the world. How do we actually connect? If you
You know what just crossed my mind? I'm gonna try to put some of these videos in one video for you guys so you could come across. If I see the entire interview, I'll do that. But what I was thinking when she's saying about community, and a couple things that was popping up in my mind. If you remember, a couple years ago, Harry and Meghan went to a podcast about some teenage, what was the name of it? Teenage something. But now they're not in high school anymore. They are probably finished college already. And they had sold the right teenage podcast. I forgot the name of it. And one of the things that they did is sold the name. And I don't know the full detail to what extent they sold. I don't know the details. But I know they sold it because they let people know. Because the moment Harry and Meghan went to their podcast, I followed them on X. And then that's how I know they sold it. They're no longer the face of the brand anymore. And then one day they posted something else. I don't know if it's under the same post. I remember telling them is because they had accumulate a good amount of fan base. Okay, a good amount of fan base, and I told them, look, don't lose the fan base while you are still connecting with some of the people who have been following you. And now that you sold the brand, create another, either individually or your own platform separately, and tell them to go over there to subscribe or follow you on that particular platform that you're on. But you could still, independent from the original name. Okay, that was one of the things that I said to them. The reason is that to build a community like Meghan, it's not easy because she had those followers way before she married Harry. So it is the same group that went along with her to the UK, and when the UK was British media started to bash on her, it was the same group who were defending her. Now, when she moved back to the US, it is the same group and more, because I was not from the beginning, and more, who's buying her things, who's defending her online, who's doing all of that. So when she says that, her fan, her community, and things like that, now many brands, they need, due to social media, for connection, they need that community in order for them to grow their business. Am I making sense? How do they call those teenage podcasters? Teenage therapy? I forgot the name of them. Harry and Meghan went to their podcast, and that's how I was aware of them. Okay? But anyway, that was one advice I gave to them, and I said, look, I understand you sold it, but you have a lot of people who are following you under that brand that you sold, but you need to grab those same people, bring them to your new platform, either your personal platform. That way, when you decided either to create a business, it was just in case. Occasionally, you don't have to post every day, but let them know where to go to continue following you. That way, if later in the future you decided to have a business, to do something, you could announce it on your page so they know. Okay? But anyway, let's continue. I might have shared that particular, what I'm talking about in one of my videos. Let's continue.
Key to this brand, and it's so key to how I like to show up in the world. How do we actually connect if you can't have comments and exchange? So my social media manager would send me screen grabs of different things that people were posting in their UGC, and I said, okay, what am I going to do here? They said, you could do a text overlay and respond, and I said, oh no, in the same way that on my own camera roll at home, I'll zoom in and I can scribble a little note and send it to a friend. I've just started this construct where I will start writing in my handwriting a note to users who put up content. So I said, let's find small and creative ways to engage the community and let them know that I'm listening, that I really see and appreciate their feedback. So I think a lot of it is just designing what works best for you, while also being really cognizant of what is going to help grow the business with an intentional and authentic point of view. And that's what I'm constantly working to try to achieve.
All right. For this, let's just say we have to thank, unfortunately, the same way I usually thank William for not accepting the 50-50. But for Meghan to come up with this new idea, look at the previous one of the tweet that I shared with you, where I mentioned one of the squatties who be buying, who went to the UK or Ireland or something like that. She bought some extra wine to give to squatties in the UK, wherever she went to, because Meghan is not shipping internationally. So we have to think, in a way, sadly to say, please don't come after me, but I have to find a positive way of looking at it, where she kept her comment section off, because the derangers, you see many times I come across some tweets, they come out of nowhere, say they're stupidity. But she kept her comment section closed. But we know for a fact Daniel sometimes be sharing some of the things that the squad be doing to Meghan. I think there was somewhere I read where he was doing that. So this is what she's making reference to. So because of the British media, who gaslit some crazies and bots to prevent her from having direct interaction with her fan, so she found a new way of doing it. So I will not be surprised where there are other businesses who will probably do the same thing. Meghan did say she's not on social media. There's a reason for that, to keep her mental well-being in a way where she doesn't have to come across those derangers out of nowhere, because many of these people, they do not know how to live peacefully. For them to live happily, they have to disturb someone else's well-being. So Meghan is saying, I'm not giving you that opportunity to disrupt my life, but she still find a way to still have a connection. In one of the videos that I share with you, she made reference about Jodiva. I thought of it, and other squaddies thought of it too. It was Jodiva who went to whatever place she went to visit, and she bought some wine. All right, let's see here. This voicemail and handwritten note always make me giggle. So sweet of Meghan, always finding ways to show up. But to continue to grow the community, Meghan shares handwritten notes with supporters. Yes, she does, and it's so sweet. Okay, so only 20 seconds. Let's listen.
Hi, Ashley. Meghan Markle's season 2 is on. I'm very excited about it. Can you please contact Meghan Markle on Instagram and tell her I really, really like her show, and thank you for doing season 2. Please make sure you do that for me. Thanks. Bye. Hi, Ashley.
Okay. Okay. It's super thoughtful. She is stunning. OMG, Meghan's eloquence though. I thank God every day that printer broke. Seriously, Harry and Meghan deep down must thank God now. At the time, it was hell, but boy, this freedom is delicious. We'd never have seen this side of them because they never have been allowed to pursue their passions. Their freedom's been good for all of us. Okay, I love how she sees and focuses on the supporters and not negatively. I am so proud of Meghan. This is just the beginning of all the blessing for her and her family, and showing up absolutely gorgeous and moisturized. Well said. Thanks, Andy, for sharing. Pleasure. So where was it? There was another one. 35. Yeah, now this is JTB video. There might be part 1 and part 2 to this recording. Okay, I'm only 35 minutes, so let's listen. Let's pause first. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit interview was a reminder that power isn't loud, it's intentional. She spoke on creativity, digital balance, and financial independence with calm authority. A real masterclass in purpose and grace. Meghan Markle. So let's listen. Oh my God! Yeah, there's gonna be 2 parts. This one is the longest I ever seen. 8 minutes and 27 seconds. If he has a YouTube channel, please go support him, because he's doing such a wonderful job in supporting and you know, put the derangers in their place. Go support him if he is, whatever platform he is in. I know he's on TikTok and he's on here. I mean, I believe I'm following him. Yes, I am. If he is on YouTube, go support him. He's doing much better job than I am. But let's listen.
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, at Fortune's
Oh, what happened?
Most Powerful Women's Summit. It was one of her most grounded and insightful conversations yet. I watched the whole thing, and here are my takeaways from 4 standout clips. In this first clip, Meghan talks about With Love Meghan, the holiday special, what's next, and what she's learned from building a new creative project.
There's a general interest in, will we be seeing a season 3 of With Love Meghan? Will it be on Netflix? Do we know? Well, the holiday special is coming out in November, and it's a really good one. So I think looking at that format, again, it's a year of learns. So we're able to say 8 episodes for 2 seasons. It's a lot of work.
What I love here is how she talks about a year of learns. That's not corporate speak. That's humility. She's acknowledged that building something authentic takes time and refinement. She's also showing that this project isn't about rushing content. It's about crafting something meaningful and sustainable. That's what real creative leadership looks like. And speaking of leadership, her next answer dives right into social media and why she's being intentional about how and where she shows up online.
I wanted to think about, or talk about how you are using social media to pair content and commerce and promotion. You took a hiatus from Instagram. You came back. January. Woo, it's changed. You're back. You're in action. But you're not on TikTok. I'm curious, will you be going on TikTok? I don't know. I mean, I think, look, I have had a very complicated relationship with social media, as you can probably imagine. And I also recognize the role that it plays in business. Part of it is, equally the work that you were talking about earlier. My husband and I spend a lot of time working on online harms, specifically surrounding protecting our children, not ours personally, but all of our children, for what they're susceptible to in the online space. So I'm sensitive to that. I also recognize that if you can show up in these spaces and be on the side of good, there is tremendous value in that also. So we're going to continue to expand the footprint in the social and digital space for the brand. For me personally, I don't know. The last time I was on Instagram, you guys, Boomerang was a thing. That was a long time ago. So having started in January, I just started to explore and play in the same way that anyone else does when they're online. I just happen to do it with a little bit more attention.
She's striking the balance between digital responsibility and brand growth. What stood out to me is when she said, if you can show up in these spaces and be on the side of good, there is tremendous value in that. That's the perfect description of how she operates. Cautious, thoughtful, and still optimistic about using platforms for something meaningful. And the boomerang joke, that's her reminding everyone she can still be serious and be self-aware, which is part of her charm. Then there's the question we all wrestle with. How do you engage online without getting drowned by negativity? And this clip is all about that. In this next part, Meghan talks about how she handles feedback, protects her peace, and still finds a way to connect with her supporters.
It's like people want to be hearing from you, but then they have lots of opinions that they stick in there that are not welcome, not helpful. And I'm curious, as you are, founders always have to look for signals in what's working, what's not working, how do I tinker, how do I pivot? How are you able to decipher out like the constructive from obviously the not constructive that you need to ignore?
Well, there are certain things that I've done just for my own self-preservation, but also that I've applied to the brand and for the people that are incredibly supportive. I know, the question can be around naysayers, but if you really see the groundswell of support that surrounds the brand and me, that's what I feel the most, and that's what I appreciate. But by design, I also recognize that a lot of those people aren't going to my page to see negativity. And so not just protecting myself or the people that work with me, but also the supporters. So I don't have the comment section on. That's a choice. And yet part of that challenge that I was trying to solve for was, then how do I create community? That is so key to this brand, and it's so key to how I like to show up in the world. How do we actually connect if you can't have comments and exchange? So my social media manager would send me screen grabs of different things that people were posting in their UGC. And I said, okay, what am I going to do here? They said, you could do a text overlay and respond. And I said, oh no, in the same way that on my own camera roll at home, I'll zoom in and I can scribble a little note and send it to a friend. I've just started this construct where I will start writing in my handwriting a note to users who put up content. So I said, let's find small and creative ways to engage the community and let them know that I'm listening, that I really see and appreciate their feedback.
This is a masterclass in digital boundaries. She's saying, yes, I turned off the comments, and that's okay. Instead of letting negativity live rent-free, she's found another way to build connection by handwriting notes to users who post supportive content. That's creative and very personal. It shows you don't have to sacrifice your well-being to be accessible.
Exactly.
You can design community in your own terms. And she ends the conversation with a topic that's always been central to her: financial independence. In this final clip, Meghan breaks down why financial independence matters, especially for women, and how it ties into legacy.
For a final question, I know financial independence has always been important to you, and you've said that it's the most empowering thing. I agree, and I think all the women in this room who are incredibly hardworking, every job is hard, but these career women also would agree. How do you think about that? You see, you had a whole career, very successful before you got married. You're having a whole other career now. What's the importance of financial independence to you?
Well, financial independence is what gives you the freedom of choice. And I think in this day and age, we all need to be able to have our autonomy. That is a huge element of that. Financial literacy, for that reason, is something that I spend a lot of time on, specifically for young girls and their empowerment. And I think as women, especially in a room like this, we can all probably agree that as women, when we're supporting each other for all of these elements that might not necessarily be the ones that people want to hear us talk about, there's nothing taboo. Doesn't need to be anything taboo about talking about our financial independence or our independence overall. And as women, when we support each other, we are not simply supporting each other's lives. We're supporting.
Oh, what happened?
When I'm supporting or investing in another female founder, I am investing in what she's going to do for the culture, for her business, the legacy she's going to leave, how that brand, if it's a CPG brand, is going to show up in people's homes. So it is all fundamentally important, and I don't think it's a conversation we should shy away from. I think it's one that we should really embrace together.
When she says financial independence is what gives you freedom of choice, that line hits hard. It's not just about money. It's about autonomy, confidence, and the ability to build something lasting. I also love how she reframes investing in other women as legacy work. Supporting female founders isn't just a business, it's cultural impact. And her final message, that we shouldn't treat financial independence as taboo, is something every woman in the room needed to hear. So those are my key takeaways from Meghan's Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit. Creativity with purpose, digital boundaries, community on your own terms, and financial empowerment as legacy. It's clear she's not just talking about success. She's redefining what it looks like to build it with intention.
Okay, so I didn't interrupt it. Wonderful breakdown of the conversation, no? Okay.
Meghan, the
Oops.
Duchess of
Wonderful breakdown of the conversation. There's this, my girl, well said. Always and forever, Meghan. There's that, agreed. Let's do this, and then that's it. There aren't 2 seasons. She lies. Okay, let's ignore that. Wow, 8 minutes of pure. Okay, there they are here. Is As Ever over? I mean, this is the thing. This is why she leaves her comment section closed, because these people go out of their way to write stupidity. She was an actress. I will expect no less, but it was. Okay, let's leave that alone. Next tweet. I have about maybe 6 or 7 more tweets left.